Hello, I am Judge Shaquita Kelly. I am the judge of County Criminal Court Number 11, which is a family violence court. I was born and raised in Michigan City, Indiana. It's a small town in Michigan, off of Lake Michigan, where predominantly it is a white town, and there's very few minorities there. When I was raised there were not a lot of successful minorities there. The most successful person that I knew was my grandpa, who was a preacher. I didn't see any black doctors, lawyers, judges, or anything like that. I was raised in a single parent home. My father was murdered when I was almost 5 years old. His best friend killed him. And so I left my mom to raise me and my older sister by herself. I was raised in an environment where, although my family was pretty religious, my grandfather was a pastor, my grandmother was the first lady of the church, and my aunts were very into church. My parents, my mom and my stepfather, were addicted to drugs. And so we had a pretty traumatic background because drugs was very prevalent in our household, and my stepfather was really addicted to drugs. So there was times when things were getting stolen and pawned in our house, and we lived a pretty poor life. I felt like I spent a lot of my time searching for love, searching for someone to give me the attention that I wasn't necessarily getting at home, and seeing that I didn't have a father. The first guy that told me he loved me was one of the boys at school. And when he told me he loved me, I believed everything about that, and I did anything that he would ask for me to do, which later ended up with me getting pregnant at 15. So here I am, a 15-year-old girl in a pretty poor home with some unstable parents, and not knowing what to do with a baby. I was lost. I was confused. I was angry. I was angry at everybody. And I just really didn't feel like anybody loved me. And I didn't want any kids. And here I am with one. And so at some point I remember when life changed for me. The father of my child, when I told him I was pregnant, he was like, I'm only 15. I can't have a baby. And he meant that. And so he basically bowed out. And I remember the day when I just felt like, I can't do this. I'm never going to be a lawyer, because I always wanted to be a lawyer, and I always wanted to go to college. And I remember getting that call that he had been shot 9 times. And I was sitting in class. It was my theater class, and the principal called my name over the overhead to come down to the office. And they told me that he had been shot 9 times and he was in critical condition. And then his mom got on the phone and told me she wanted me to come to the hospital and bring the baby to the hospital to say goodbye to him. And so I did that. I went up there and saw him connected to all these things that they have at the hospital when you're in ICU, tubes everywhere, blood. He still had gauze on him that was all bloody. And I looked over at him in the bed, and I had my daughter on my hip, and I saw myself. It's so crazy. I saw myself on my mom's hip when she held me over my dad's casket. And at that moment, I felt like I have to do something better than this. And I told my daughter, say goodbye to your dad. And I remember my mom, when I was that little girl, telling me, give your daddy a kiss, you won't see him again. And then we walked out of the hospital. And I thought, man, I gotta do better. But there was no one around me. I had no one in my family who ever went to college. So college was really like a foreign thing. And especially for someone with a kid. All my teachers, and I remember my guidance counselor told me I should just go to beauty school. She said, you can't do college because you have a baby now. So go to beauty school and get some type of trade where you can make some money and raise your child. And when your child becomes an adult, then you can consider college. That was so deflating for me. I already didn't have anybody at home that was encouraging me, telling me to go to college because they hadn't been. And then for the one person who I was relying on to know what to do when it came to my career, she told me I couldn't do it. But there was one teacher who pulled me to the side, and I always say she had no idea what she was doing, but she was pouring into a judge. And at that time, she had no idea. She just thought she was just encouraging a student. But because of her, my whole life changed. Because of her, I went to college and then law school and then started practicing law and then became a judge. But she said to me, "What's wrong? Why are you so down?" And I said, "No." I was angry. I was angry at her. I was angry at everybody. I didn't want to talk to her. And she stopped me. She took that moment and said, "You know, you can go to college and be whatever you want, Shaquita, if that's what you want to do." And no one had ever told me that, not in those words. And I think it was at the right moment because my soul heard her, and it just grew. And I became inspired, and she told me, "Hey, if you want me to, I will help you fill out the college applications. I will help you fill out every information that you need. But if you want to go to college, you can do that." And so, with her help, I filled out the forms, the FAFSA forms. I only applied to one college, just one, because I didn't even know any better. And they accepted me. And I can't put into words how that moment felt for me. That somebody was going to give me a chance after all the blood and the dirt that I had been through, and how so many people looked at me as my belly, when I was pregnant, and my belly got bigger and bigger. People were looking at me like I was a whore. They judged me. I remember my bus driver called me a whore. And so, for someone, a university, to say, "Sure, come on, bring your child, get your education," it was like the most rewarding feeling. And I went to college. I got there. I didn't know how I was going to do it. My grandpa at the time, I remember asking him to drive me down there because it was 3 hours away from home. I went to Bloomington, Indiana University, and my grandpa had a 3rd grade education. He didn't even know how to read. He learned how to read from the Bible. But he really extremely valued college. And so, and I didn't know this at the time. So I asked him, I said, "Grandpa, can you take me to college?" He was like, "What?" I said, "I don't have a way down there. I just need someone to take me." He said, "Where you gotta go?" I said, "Tomorrow." "Tomorrow?" "Yeah, I guess I'll take you." He put me in his work truck. It was a little raggedy truck. And all 3 of us, me, my daughter, and my grandpa, sat in the front bed of that truck, and we drove down for 3 hours. And he's a man of either few words or a lot of words. But this time, he didn't have much to say. And I remember when we arrived at family housing, he helped me get all my stuff in there, and turned right back around to leave. And as I closed the door, he turned back to me, and he said, "Don't you come back without those papers." And in that moment, I realized that I was left to lead a legacy that he never had an opportunity to get. Because he had to quit school in 3rd grade to help his family. And so he was hoping that I would take the lead. And I would run with it, and I would cross the finish line, because he couldn't do it. My grandpa passed away 5 months later, and it was earth-shattering, but it also was motivating, because I remember when he said, "Don't you come back without those papers." And from that moment, I know, and I knew I had a job to do. I couldn't let all this mess of what people were saying about me stop me from achieving my goals. Because my grandpa never had the opportunity to do it, but I did. So I busted my butt. It was hard. I had my daughter with me. I remember when we first moved into that housing, we didn't even have a table to have dinner on. And I would go, and the maintenance man at the apartment complex would go to the dump when people would throw their old furniture out. He would fix it and give it to me. And so I had this table with 4 different chairs at it, but it was mine. You know, I had been raised in an environment where I was so used to things being stolen that I didn't care if the 4 chairs didn't match. They were mine, and nobody could take it. So although it was very difficult, I took my daughter to class with me. I took her everywhere I went. But I couldn't give up. And I didn't. And believe it or not, somehow I graduated early. I graduated in 3.5 years with 2 majors. I was so determined. I was so free. It was hard. Let me make that very clear. It was hard. I was on food stamps. I was on welfare. And at that time, and I don't know quite how it is now, but at that time, school did not count for work. And so if I wasn't working a full-time job, they were going to cut my food stamps and cut my welfare. But I couldn't work a full-time job, have a baby, and go to school full-time. It was just too much. And so I found myself trying to cheat the system with the government. You know, I would miss my appointments because I knew I couldn't give her a pay stub that said 40 hours. And now I was working 30, but I just could not do 40 hours and go to school full-time. And so it was just I was just dodging bullets right and left. And by God's grace, I never got my assistance cut off. And I had a lot of little blessings along the way that helped me. But I was the first person in my community to go to college. And it was really a foreign concept, like I said earlier. But I know that there were a lot of people who wanted to but weren't brave enough to do it. And so I also understood that I had to do it, so that those who had it in the back of their head, maybe, should I, could I, that when they saw this girl with a baby doing it, that they could do it. But I also knew that if I failed, then those who were secretly thinking it would never try. So there was a lot of heavy burdens on me, from the loss of my grandfather, to taking care of a 2-year-old baby, to dodging the welfare system, to knowing that my community was back home watching me, hoping that I succeeded, needing me to succeed. And I graduated in 1999 with a degree in psychology and criminal justice. The whole reason why I ever really wanted to be a lawyer was because my grandpa was my hero. Like, the man was amazing. 3rd grade education. When he passed away, he owned a ranch, 9 homes, he founded a church and a furniture store. The man was amazing, and he was very handsome too. But he used to always, when he got home from work, he was a carpenter during the day, and he built houses from the foundation up. So he would come home, he would shower, he'd be tired, and he would turn on the TV, and he would watch Perry Mason. And he said, man, them lawyers, they sure are smart. And he would say it all the time. And I was like, ooh, I think if I become a lawyer, my grandpa think I'm smart too. And so that's really, I mean, from kindergarten on up, I knew I was going to be a lawyer just because I wanted to impress him so much. And then when I became older in high school, and I was so angry because my mom was suffering from a drug addiction. I was so angry at the drug dealers. I was angry at my stepfather's drug dealers because they would come to the house in the middle of the night and help him take furniture out. And so when I got older, I started saying, ooh, I'm going to be a lawyer because I'm going to fight against those drug dealers. I'm going to lock all of them up. And after I got out of law school, I started practicing and prosecuting drug dealers. But I learned that wasn't really, I got to see another side of that. I learned a lot about how drugs got in our community. And that was eye-opening. And I no longer wanted to prosecute. My psychology background helped. First of all, my life experience helped. I think my life experiences made me relatable to the common person. I hadn't lost that. And I do believe that although my journey was rocky, I believe I had to go through that journey to be who I am now and to be effective of who I am now and to be relatable. Because even on the bench now, people will tell me stuff that they wouldn't normally say to a judge, because they just look at me and they see somebody who cares and somebody who understands. And so, and I talk on their level. And that's another thing, you know, in this position, I use my position to try to make someone better, even though they're a criminal. Because I do feel like at some point somebody failed them, and that's how they ended up in this court system. But yeah, at that time when I was prosecuting drug offenders, my psychology came into play because I started to realize like the effects that were trickling down from way before my time, and how it was ruining and how it was just causing, it's just so complex that I don't even think I have enough time to break it down today. So I digressed, but I think I was saying that my grandpa was my hero, and he was my sole motivation to be a lawyer. And then I had my teacher who helped me get and realize that that actually is a dream that can come true, and not a dream that people are laughing at. I attended Indiana University in Bloomington. There are several locations, but that is the main location. And overall, I really, really enjoyed my college experience. My first 2 years were very difficult because, one, I lost my grandfather, but two, I had a baby with me, and no one else did. So I wasn't able to party like most college students their first year. I had to take my daughter with me to class for like the first semester because I didn't have childcare. The government, the state hadn't transferred over the childcare from when I was in one city to the other city. So I had to wait, and I had a scholarship that I was using just to pay for taxis. I mean, I spent $2,500 in taxis in a semester because I had to catch a taxi from my family housing to her daycare, from her daycare back to my family housing, and then I would go to class, and then at the end of the day, I had to go back to her daycare, pick her up, pay for a taxi for that, and then a taxi back to the dorm. And so it was a lot of money that I just blew through all on taxis. I was really poor. I was really frustrated because my family didn't get what I was doing. It was strange to them. Like, honestly, in the world that I came from, at that time, college was for white people. And black people, you work hard, you take care of your family. And Shaquita, you have a daughter now, so you need to work hard. You don't get to go away and have fun. That's kind of how it seemed. But when I got them to realize that I am buckling down and I'm busting my butt, then they was like, what do you need from us, right? What can we do? Even though we don't understand exactly what's going on in this college atmosphere, we realize you're doing something to try to better yourself. But before then, I mean, I was working 3 jobs and going to school because I'm trying to keep up with the welfare system. I was working like 10 jobs at 10 hours at each job to try to get to the 40 hours that they were requiring of me. And I was going to school. I had 16 credit hours in my first semester. And then I had my daughter. And one of my jobs was from 1 to 4 in the morning. I was a telemarketer for an overseas company. And so that it was just hard. It was hard. I was exhausted. And even today when I look back, I have no idea how I did all that. Like, it's like if I didn't live it, I wouldn't believe that this really happened, right? Like, you work 3 jobs with a baby and with school for 16 hours. You lying. But I did. And so that first year and a half was a beat down. And then I met Delta Sigma Theta. And I just fell in love with these amazing women. I met them at a AIDS bowl-a-thon. And I took my daughter, I wanted to have a little outing with her because she really didn't have a childhood. She was in school. We were always in school, in class. And when I was studying, I would make her color, or I'd make her read to her stuffed animals so I could study. So every now and then, her and I would either go outside and have a picnic, or we would try to do something on campus. And so the ladies at Delta Sigma Theta were always doing things. And it was either pick up trash for, I can't think of the company, but it's like picking up trash off of the streets. Or it was Habitat for Humanity, helping build houses. And so I went to their bowl-a-thon, and when I got there, of course, my daughter was such a cute little baby, and everyone's like, oh my God, she's so cute, and they doted on her. And then they said, hey, if you ever need somebody to watch her, if you need some help, hey, I'll help. And they did. These women were just so sincere and so loving. They embraced me and they made my life so much better. And they kept looking at me. They're like, wow, you doing all this? And I was looking at them like, wow, these girls are amazing. And so to have someone like them look at me and be like proud of me, it inspired me and it motivated me to work even harder, to not give up. Because there were times when I was like, I'm just going to go back home and get a job. This is too hard. So once I met them and then I pledged, it was like I had a whole family down there. I had, my daughter was always, they were bringing her candy, they was doing her hair, they were bringing her clothes. It was just a lot easier once I became a member of Delta Sigma Beta. To the pregnant and parenting team, I want to say to you that one thing you have to do is stop listening to the naysayers. You're going to have more people hating on you and more people telling you what you can't do than people telling you what you can do and encouraging you and supporting you and giving you resources on how to get there. Let's be clear right off the bat. Because you got a lot of haters out here. And although people will act as if they're your friends, you will find out who your friends are when you need them the most. But you owe it to yourself, and you owe it to your child, your born child or your unborn child, to live your dream. And the only thing that can stop you is not your child, it's you. And I say that because I've lived it. You can go to college. You heard me just say it's not easy, but I went to college and I graduated early. So that just shows that when you are determined and you have some drive, it's not about how smart you are, it's about how diligent you are. And because I'm not the smartest person, I have to study. I'm one of those people that I have to read it over and over, but once I got it, I got it. It doesn't just click for me. So know that you owe it to your child and to yourself to provide a stable environment, and that if that means going to college or opening your own business or whatever that means, don't stop. Don't say, well, I got a baby now, I might as well just give me a job and take care of it. No, don't settle, because you're laying a foundation for what your child's gonna do. And if you settle, it's likely your child's gonna settle. So you have to be the role model. Even if you didn't have a role model, you have to change the statistics. I used to tell my daughter, we have to change the narrative and the statistic, because statistically speaking, we're not supposed to succeed, and you're supposed to get pregnant as a teenage mom too. So we need to change that narrative. We're not fitting into that bubble. And so if you have that mindset and you keep it, you will succeed. Speak it, believe it, walk it, and know it's gonna happen, and expect nothing less than that. If you do that, I promise you, every day you wake up and as soon as your feet hit that side of the bed, you say, today's gonna be a great day. Today I'm gonna apply to that college. Today I'm gonna finish that homework assignment. It's gonna happen. But if you get up every day and you say, I don't know, I'm just so sorry for myself because I got pregnant when I wasn't supposed to and I'm so ashamed, get rid of that embarrassment. It's not gonna take you anywhere. And guess what? While people sitting there judging you, they all have something going on in their closet. You just can't see it. The problem is we couldn't hide ours because it's just out there. But every single person who's judging you, they're thinking about themselves. They have their own issues. So get rid of the embarrassment. I suffered from that a lot because I came from a very religious family. And so here's the pastor's granddaughter that's pregnant. Pentecostal. I don't know if y'all know anything about Pentecostal church, but it's rough. Okay. So I came from a very, very religious family, and it was embarrassing. Man, I was so ashamed of myself of that embarrassment. I was beating myself up. God is the only person that can judge you. So when people were out there calling your names, and I lost friends. My parents, the parents of my friends didn't want them to hang out with me because I guess they thought if they saw my belly and they touched my belly, they was going to end up pregnant. I don't know what they thought, but they was having sex too. I just was the one that ended up with the baby. So get out of the mindset of people judging you, being embarrassed on the choices you've made, and focus on your goals. Focus on your future. Because the people that were talking about me now, I'm more successful than almost every single person I graduated with. All those people who were sitting around talking about, oh, she out there in the street, where are they? They're not. I am, out of my class of 1996, I am the most successful person. So, and I never imagined that. I never imagined that I would be the one. But now I realize I spent way too much energy on what other people thought about me. Accomplish your goals. I would say that you have to organize your days and your weeks, because you will have a lot. You're balancing a kid, while everybody else is just balancing homework. Everybody else in college is just going to class and doing their homework. You got to go to class. You got to cook dinner. You got to spend time on your kids' homework, and then you still got to do your homework. So you have to organize. That's the most important part about being a single parent in college, is organization. Organize, map out your life, set your goals, do your 5-year goals, do your 10-year goals, do your 1-year goal. You should have a goal every month, even if it's small. This month I'm going to apply to 2 colleges. This month I'm going to save $100, so when I go to college, I can buy plates. This month I'm going to organize down to the T, and you'll see that life becomes a lot less stressful. It won't be easy, but it'll be worth it. To the student who doesn't have a plan, haven't thought about their future, just coasting around, doing nothing in life, it reminds me of something I said to my guy. He was once a straight A student, and then his senior year in school, he became a straight F student. And just wanted to get high, just wanted to hang out, had no plan whatsoever. I said, you got a plan? You just don't realize it. You have a plan to fail. You have a plan to be a burger boy. And he said, burger boy? I said, yeah, because that's the only kind of job you're going to get, is flipping burgers in the back of the kitchen at Burger King. I said, so if you're okay with that, that's your plan. You have a plan by not having a plan. It's the plan to fail. That's really what it is. So if you expect that you're going to drive around in a nice car and have a nice home, the plan you currently have of no plan will not get you that nice car and a nice home. The plan of no plan will get you in trouble. The plan of no plan will get you to selling drugs so you can get that nice car and that nice home. The plan of no plan will get you incarcerated. That's what I say to the person who has no plan. The person who wants to be the next Michael Jordan, or the next, I guess I'm going back too far, the next LeBron James, or who wants to be the next Meek Mills. That's rare. Do you know how many people make it in that industry? It's not a lot. But you know how many people succeed from college and make a lot of money? Because see, the difference is there's so many talented people that can play sports. But you've seen the draft. There's not that many people that get pulled. There's so many talented rappers. The guy that I was dating that got shot 9 times, the father of my child, was an amazing rapper and an amazing basketball player. He had no plan. And now he is working part-time at the YMCA as a basketball coach. That's a plan. Is that what you want? The plan of no plan is a plan of failure. Simple. You can't succeed in anything in life without a plan. So if you are cool with being a failure and not amounting to anything, and you got a great plan, you on your way. But if you want something in life, you better start scratching your head and think of a plan. To the student who plans to go to college or get a trade or certificate in something, my advice is to, I have several things. One, do what you want to do. A lot of people go to college and do what their parents want you to do, and you gotta live your life. And so, and I know many parents are like, don't be telling them that, but it's true. It is. I mean, if your parent tells you to go to school to be a teacher, like my husband, most of his family members are in the school system. We have no interest in that. And life is so short. Don't go and spend all that money at a college to get a degree that you're not going to be happy with. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up going back to college to get another degree in something you really wanted to do. So you just wasted a whole bunch of money. So the first thing is figure out what you really want to do. And if you don't know when you first start, that's okay. I started off with an English major. And I was like, yeah, this is not what I want to do. And so I was a year in and switched to criminal justice and psychology. It didn't hurt me any. The writing major helped with my writing, but it was not something I wanted to do. So take your time to figure out what you want to do so you don't have to later go back and fix it. My second bit of advice would be to not party too hard, because you can get into college and you could be a straight A student in high school, but colleges, I know you guys hear this from your teachers, college is different. It really is. They just don't handhold you. They give you the syllabus at the beginning of the semester, and they expect you to have the homework done on those dates. They're not going to ask you, hey, make sure you get that homework done. Did you get your homework done? They don't care like that. So the compassion that you get from your teachers in high school is not the same in college. Also, you're going to go to school with a whole bunch of people that were at the top of their class. So you will no longer be the smartest person, or even at the top. And that's another rude awakening. My daughter was really smart and was at the top of her class in high school. And she went to Howard and she was like, I don't feel like I'm smart. It's because everyone's smart, right? Everyone's making good grades. Everyone's out there hustling. So be okay with not being at the top. That doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means that you got some competition, which you need. You need the competition to keep moving. But don't party too hard, because you're not going to have anybody remind you to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning and come to class. You're not going to have anybody that's going to tell you, hey, you missed that assignment. I'm going to give you a few more days to get it in. But when you're partying too hard, that's when all this forgetting assignments, oversleeping, all that comes in. What I did when I knew that I wanted to go out, whenever I could go out, is I make sure I did my homework first, because then it's out of the way. A lot of people go home, they watch TV, they chill, they know they got this party coming up. They say, I'll work on it when I get home. I'm gonna go to the party and work on homework when I get home. You're too tired. So then you're like, shoot, you get home at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, your class is at 8 or 9. There's no way you're gonna do that homework and do it efficiently or effectively in time for class. So I used to always, I made it like, I'm not going out until this homework is done. And that way I could go out and I can come home, go to sleep, and be ready for school in the morning. So that is what I would definitely advise someone going to school is prioritize school at school. Not partying, not hanging out at the kickbacks and checking out the girls or the fine dudes. School, go to school, prioritize school, and you'll be fine. But still have a good time. College is fun. Just don't let it be so fun that you end up home, because you will go home and they will not care. And then you have Sally Mae saying, you got kicked out and we need our check every month. So make sure you go to school, not to party. Thank you for watching Able Cafe, where we talk real life, get real answers, and more importantly, talk about college awareness so that you too can be successful in life.